So right, UFC 298, Volkanovski versus Topuria takes place in the main event this weekend, and I'm going to be going through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my full breakdown and prediction throughout each and every single fight on the card, starting with the early prelim opener of, checking Tapology guys, Miranda Maverick versus Andrea Lee. No-brainer pick here. I'm going to be going with Miranda Maverick. I do see some people picking Andrea Lee live as an underdog. All I got to say to that is, what are you guys thinking? I can't trust a currently 35-year-old Andrea Lee on a 3-fight losing skid. I can't trust that. Now, granted, those 3 L's were against Vivian Araújo, Macy Barber, and Natalia Silva. All 3 tough losses. But like I said, I can't trust a 35-year-old Andrea Lee on a skid. I just can't. I'm going to be going with the much younger fighter in Miranda Maverick, only 26. Definitely going to push her will, her pace, and definitely her strength in this fight. It can go tit for tat on the feet. I can see it, being pretty even. But once it gets down to the mats, onto the ground, that's when Miranda Maverick is her most dangerous. Once she wrestles and takes her down, I'm pretty confident that Miranda Maverick's going to get it done via decision. So that's the pick, Miranda Maverick via decision. 29-28, maybe a 30-27. Moving on to the next fight of the card, Val Woodburn versus Oban Elliot. Just going to be brutally honest with you guys here. Val Woodburn is not UFC material, not even UFC level. He was just a sacrificial lamb for Bo Nickel, and he got brutally KO'd in that fight. One thing to note here is that fight with Bo Nickel was at middleweight, and this upcoming fight with Oban is at welterweight. Not a good look when you get brutally KO'd and now you're coming down a weight class. That's not a good look, and that doesn't give me confidence in you whatsoever. He's facing off against a talented striker in Oban Elliot, coming off an amazing upset win from the Dana White Contender Series. Oban Elliot is a full mixed martial artist. He has some wins via finish, TKO and sub, but he is mainly a decision guy, and that's where I kind of see this fight playing out. I do think he's going to outstrike Woodburn through the 3 rounds, getting it done via dominant decision, 29-28, maybe even a 30-27 in that card. Moving on to the next fight of the card, Josh Quinlan versus Danny Barlow. One of my locks here on the card, I'm going to be going with Danny Barlow getting it done via TKO or KO. Josh Quinlan is a steroid drug cheat who got caught pissing hot just recently. Well, not just recently, but he got suspended for 9 months and is now coming back, which I think is wild. I thought they were going to cut him once they exposed him for that, but I guess he's still in the company. It is what it is, but I'm going to be going with Danny Barlow getting it done via KO, TKO. Josh Quinlan got exposed his last fight. He had some struggles fighting off against a tall, lanky striker. And I think it's still gonna play how it is with this fight. Danny Barlow is a tall, lanky, crisp striker that has power. That is something that Trey Waters doesn't have. Danny Barlow can crack and is coming off a amazing TKO win from the Contender Series. So that is the pick. That is the lock. I'm gonna be going with Danny Barlow catching Josh Quinlan in the 1st or 2nd round. Moving on to the next fight of the card, Zhang versus Brendson Ribeiro. Pretty 50-50 fight. These guys are light heavyweights, meaning these guys can shut each other's lights off in an instant. It is a very 50-50 fight. Both these guys are flash finishers, but I do see Zhang as a better overall MMA fighter than Ribeiro. Ribeiro is a little too reckless for me. He's a little too reckless on the feet and on the ground. Zhang is reckless as well, but he's technically he's wild but technical. He can find his strikes, and I think he's gonna find his KO shot before Ribeiro does. I think he's gonna time him up with feints, catch him up on the fence, and find the finish there. Zhang gets it done via 1st round KO. that's the one thing I'm very, very confident that this fight is not going the full distance. It is ending in the first round. Moving on to an actual fight I'm very excited for. Rinya Nakamura versus Carlos Vera. Another lock on the card. Rinya Nakamura is going to absolutely run through and destroy Carlos Vera. Carlos Vera was one of the contestants on the recent season of Tough with McGregor and Chandler, and that season in particular has got to be the worst in terms of skill and competition. Carlos Vera lost to Brad Katona, and we just recently saw that Brad Katona isn't all that. I remember he was getting outstruck and taken down, and if Brad Katona can take you down, Rinya can most definitely take you down and submit you, and that's how I see the fight playing out. Rinya is a very promising prospect, undefeated, very, very young, carries dangerous power in his hands, a bit open. I do have a little bit of gripes with him. His main issue is that he's a bit open on the feet, but like I said, carries dangerous power in the striking and is a top-notch elite wrestler, grappler. And again, that's how I'm going to see the fight playing out. I personally think Rinya's going to catch him against the cage, secure a takedown, and find the submission there. Rinya Nakamura, fat lock. I mean, he is the biggest favorite on the card. He is a minus 850 favorite against Carlos Vera. Yeah, I don't see this guy losing for any time soon, especially not to Carlos Vera. Rinya Nakamura, submission, lock, gets it done. Moving on to the next fight of the card. Marcos Rodrigo de Lima versus Justin Badman Tafa. I've been thinking about this fight throughout the whole week, and it's still a tough one to pick. Will this be the time where I actually pick Justin Tafa to win, or keep doubting him? He lost to, oh man, it's a tough one, man. This fight's very tough because Justin Tafa, I mean, but despite getting amazing KOs, he's fought nobody, and he's lost to Carlos Felipe and Jared Van Dera. Those are not good losses. Those are very bad, like very bad losses to have on your record. Marcos Rodrigo de Lima is coming off a brutal KO loss to Derek Lewis, but that happened almost 7 months ago. And what happens if Justin Tafa makes it past the first round and he doesn't get the KO? That's what I've mainly been thinking. What if he doesn't catch De Lima? What if he makes it past that first round? De Lima can go all three, and he has very brutal leg kicks. And Justin Tafa has been shown time and time again that he can't check a leg kick to save his life. He takes those. If I get proven wrong, oh my God, if I get proven wrong this fight, I'm going to be so pissed. But I'm going to be going with Marcos Rodrigo de Lima, getting it done via decision 29-28. If he loses and Justin Tafa wins, I'm going to be so fucking pissed. That's all I'm going to say. If he loses, I'm going to be pissed because I keep picking against Tafa and he keeps winning. So moving on, got a little animated last pick, but moving on to the headline prelim opener, Mackenzie Dern versus Amanda Lemos. Bit of a 50-50 fight here. Both these female fighters can negate each other's styles. You got Mackenzie Dern being a very elite jiu-jitsu artist and Amanda Lemos being a tough, dangerous striker. As 50-50 as it is, I'm going to actually be going Amanda Lemos to get it done via finish. Main reasoning because Mackenzie Dern, last fight, fought in December, got brutally TKO'd by Jessica Andrade in the second round. She got dropped 4 times. I think it was 4 times she got dropped in the second round, and then she got TKO'd. And that was in December. She's coming back in February, 4 months after a brutal TKO loss. Not a good sign. That isn't really good decision-making on Dern's part. And yes, Amanda Lemos is coming off a very dominant loss to Weili Zhang, but she got beat by grappling. You know, she got out-wrestled. I think after that fight, I think the big takeaway for Lemos was to just develop and improve that takedown defense. And I think now that she's facing off against a very deadly jiu-jitsu artist, not even a wrestler, that's another thing. I don't think Mackenzie Dern's going to forcefully take Lemos down in this fight. Most of Amanda's Dern's takedowns are from the fence. So I think Lemos is going to stuff everything that Dern throws at her. Dern isn't really confident on the feet, especially against someone as deadly as Lemos that carries really dangerous power. Yeah, I'm going to be going with Amanda Lemos getting it done via first round or second round TKO. Moving on to the next fight of the card, to the main card opener. I'm very excited for this fight. Almost every single fight in this main card is just amazing. But here we have with the main card opener, Anthony Fluffy Hernandez taking on Roman Kopylov. Bit of a 50-50 fight here. Bit of a 50-50 fight. Tough to pick. I see some people making the argument that Hernandez is going to win. I see the same for Roman Kopylov. The pick for me is going to be Roman Kopylov here. That being said, Anthony Hernandez is no slouch. That dude is a dog. And it's a little worrisome that he's the favorite over Roman, but that could just be some people just sleeping on Roman as a contender. Both coming off 4 fight win streaks. Both destroyed Josh Frem. Roman Kopylov coming off 3 first-round TKO wins, if I'm correct. At least 2 out of the 3 are first-round TKO, while Hernandez has a bit of decision wins, but he does have a few finishes as well. Great fight. I'm glad that Dana and the matchmakers were able to make this fight. I love seeing 2 young prospects going at it, and these are 2 very talented middleweight prospects. Yeah, Roman Kopylov is the pick. I think he's going to negate almost everything that Anthony Hernandez can throw at him. I'm a little worried if Roman can keep up with the pace, because Hernandez throws 110% each time he fights. That man's pace is questionable, because he can go the full 15 and not crack a sweat. I'm a little worried about how Roman could pace himself, but for this fight camp, he's been strictly training in the Russians of Dagestan. Very, very, very confident in that. So I'm going to be going with Roman Kopylov getting it done via late rounds TKO. I think he's going to mitigate almost everything Hernandez is going to throw at him on the feet, on the ground. Yeah, Roman Kopylov. Moving on to what, in my opinion, what should have been the real co-main event, Merab Dvalishvili versus Henry Cejudo. Pretty much a no-brainer for me. I'm going to be going with Merab Dvalishvili getting it done via dominant decision. Ever since Cejudo's fight with Alja, I've always just questioned his mental and decision-making, especially his decision-making, because just recently on the latest episode, not even the latest episode, but when they did their UFC countdown video, he fired his longtime coach. I think his name is Captain Eric. His longtime coach that's been with him ever since the beginning of Henry Cejudo's career, he fires him. I don't know if that was a joke. I don't know if they were playing it up for the camera. I don't know if I honestly don't know. I can't really. I'm at a loss of words when it happened. When I first saw that episode live, or when I first saw that scene, I was at a loss for words, because I feel like Henry Cejudo's trying to pull something here, but I don't know, man. Firing your longtime coach, if it's real, very bad mistake to fire someone who's been loyal with you ever since the beginning of your career. And yeah, man, I'm gonna be going with Merab. Merab just keeps that overall pace. Like, he is in my opinion, he is the best well-conditioned fighter in the UFC roster right now. That dude could fight 25. He could fight an hour and still keep on going. Apparently, in the latest Embedded episode, he was training 10 to 15 rounds. That's pretty crazy. One side note as well for this fight is Cejudo was having trouble managing to fight. When he was managing to fight Aljo, he was having trouble closing the distance and finding his strikes. And Aljo trains with Merab. They're teammates, they're friends. I'm pretty sure Aljo was able to give Merab some key pointers because he fought Cejudo. Yeah, Cejudo, I'm going to be going with Merab. Sorry, Merab. I think he's just going to put an absolute clinic, outstrike, I think he's going to take down Henry Cejudo. That I'm confident on. He is going to be shooting multiple takedowns. He's going to be outstriking him, make the fight very ugly against the fence, and securing a dominant win. 29-28, maybe even a 30-27. I wouldn't be surprised. If he was able to 30-27 Jose Aldo, he can most definitely get a dominant victory over Henry Cejudo. One side thing, because I'm very excited for this fight, Merab is riding a 9-fight unbeaten win streak. That is pretty crazy, and I don't think Henry Cejudo is going to be that type of guy to destroy Merab's 9-fight win streak. Merab's the pick, dominant decision. Let's go Merab. Moving on to the feature fight of the card, Ian Machado Garry versus Geoff Hands of Steel Neal. Not going to beat around the bush. I'm going to be going with Ian Garry getting it done via decision. Despite what you say about him, if you love him, if you hate him, he's very, very good on the feet. He is one of the best strikers at welterweight. Granted, he's facing off against Geoff Neal, who has, in my opinion, the best boxing at welterweight. He has some of the crisp hands as well. But he's just primarily a boxing guy. He has really good defense when it comes to leg kicks, but just primarily a boxing guy with overhands and winging shots. Very dangerous. If he lands on you, you're dead, but I think Ian Garry's just too smart. I think he's going to make a miss most of the time and then find his own shots. I do think this is going to be a pretty boring and underwhelming performance from Ian Garry, just because of how these two style matchups clash together. I think Ian Garry's just going to kind of deliver an Israel Adesanya type of performance, keep your distance, throw leg kicks, and find your shots when you see them. Another keynote that I love is the fact that Ian Garry has trained with a lot of good fighters, a lot of good gyms, Kill Cliff, and just recently moved to Brazil to train at Shoot the Box with Charles Oliveira, Diego Lima, and other good Shoot the Box fighters like Daniel Santos, Elvis Brenner. Yeah, I like this move for him. Keeping him clearly on the embedded episodes, you see him that he's in good spirits, clear mind, and I like this look from him. And Ian Machado Garry is going to be the pick for me, getting it done via pretty boring decision. But yeah. Moving on to the co-main event, if it even happens, who knows? Robert the Weeper Whittaker taking on Bonyachinya Paulo Costa. No brainer. I know I said that last time, but I'm very confident in this one. I'm going to be going with Robert the Weeper Whittaker, getting it done via either late rounds TKO or dominant decision. I personally think Robert's going to destroy Costa. I can't trust Costa anymore. That 2018 to 2019 Paulo Costa, compared to his current self, is just no longer there. That hunger, that motivation to become a champion, a great fighter, it's night and day compared to when he fought Marvin Vettori and Luke Rockhold, being his last two fights. Just that era of Paulo Costa was just different compared to this newer era of Paulo Costa. And I think it was just Izzy, man. He just destroyed his ego, he destroyed his mental, and at this point, he doesn't even fight. Current from 2021 to now, he's had over 5 canceled bouts, and he's 1-1 with 5 canceled bouts. I can't trust that. He is he's very strong. He could always catch Whittaker on the chin. Whittaker is a bit chinny, but I don't know, man. I think he's just too slow, too plotty, too readable. I think Whittaker's just gonna find his reads and either beat him to a brutal late rounds TKO win or dominant decision. Love Costa. I'd find it very hilarious if he were to beat Robert, just because a character like him winning to it and being a very top contender, it'd be comedic. Someone like him, it'd be very comedic, but gotta take away my heart and use my brain. Robert the Reaper Whittaker gets it done and is my pick of the card. Moving on to the main event. The challenger, El Matador, Ilya Topuria, taking on the champion, the great Alexander Volkanovski. Very excited for this fight, very nervous for this fight, because the pick here is Elliot Topuria to get it done via late rounds TKO and new. Yes, you heard it there first. I'm picking Elliot Topuria. I love Alexander Volkanovski as a fighter, as a champion, great person, great dad, great family man, but I'm just gonna give you the basics. I'm gonna give you the facts. Coming back 4 months after getting brutally TKO'd at age 35 in October is not a good look. He suffered a brutal almost career changing. I guess we'll have to say after this fight. But in my opinion, it was a career-changing knockout from Islam in the rematch that he suffered in October. And now he's coming back in February, 3 to 4 months after that, to come and fight another dangerous, undefeated, confident killer in Elliot Topuria. Not a good look, man. If you're picking Volkanovski, I'd be pretty worried, because the mental's a bit questionable. You know, the decision making's a bit questionable as well. Yeah, man, coming back 4 months after getting brutally KO'd is something to be worrying about if you're a Volkanovski fan, because I like Volk, man. I don't want to see him get, brutally TKO'd. But I'm not doubting him, because he's very good and he could be coming back to prove a lot of people like me who think his time is over, wrong. If that happens, this dude is the GOAT of featherweight. In my opinion, if he beats Elliot Topuria this weekend, he is the featherweight GOAT. But I've been watching Elliot Topuria since his debut, all the way back since he fought in Cage Warriors. I've been watching this dude. And now he's fighting for a title. And I believe in his confidence. I believe in him as a fighter. I believe in him as a champion. I believe in this new era, and that's what's going to happen. Elliot Topuria gets it done. Just forgot I had to record my outro, but thank you guys for watching today's video. Hopefully you like, comment, subscribe, do all that. Follow my socials down in the description below. And hopefully this is a new start to something I want to do. I've been thinking about making content, talking about combat sports. It doesn't necessarily have to be MMA always. I'll be talking about boxing, kickboxing, all that jazz. I love all aspects of MMA, or all aspects of combat sports, and that's what I'm going to cover in this channel. Picks, breakdowns, recaps, but I'm just getting started and I like where this is going. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.